Morning, my name is Casey Joyner, Scenic Sotheby's, and today is Monday, man, February 2nd. Is this Groundhog Day? Man, it just hit me. Groundhog Day. Love that movie. Welcome. If this is your first time, we do this every Monday, right? We're going to show you the week that was, a 72-hour snapshot that shows the week that was. Today's a really good one if this is your first time, or if you've been watching for any amount of time. We're going to go through the numbers. To be honest with you, there's some things I love and I don't like. And then number two, I've got to address the elephant in the room, which is the DeSantis strong move to eliminate property tax in Florida. This is fresh. You're going to want to hear this because I received a couple of calls on this, and there's a little bit of not understanding it, what's going on. So it's my job to make it clear for you where we are, and I'm going to bring that to you because it's very important. Because if you're interested in this channel at all, watching these numbers or this area, this is important information for you. Just like when we had Drew on with insurance, if you don't get your insurance check this year, you're missing out, okay? And then Pierce with the fine, like we want to bring you all these assets, right? The DeSantis tax conversation is a big one, so stand by for me. But man, I hope everybody's well. We had to wrap the pipes, down here. We had to cover the spigots, all that stuff. It felt like 5 degrees Saturday morning here. I judge it based on how everybody's wrapping up the pipes and how late the golf course has to open. I get those emails. They're like, we're not opening golf until 1. I know it's cold, okay? So let's dig into this. Here we go. New listings, 62. 62 new listings on February 2nd. Guys, this is the part I don't love. I didn't see this. Wasn't expecting this. This isn't the kickoff of spring break or anything. But I think what's happening is there is some movement in the market. And I know, and I explained this last year. Let me give you an agent mentality. Just like everybody that goes to the gym in January, agents wake up after taking a lot of November and December off. I'm not talking, listen, I love my industry, but there's a lot of agents. A lot of people just put it in neutral toward the end of the year. But what happens in January is start making those calls thinking, hey, you need to relist now, or you need to get on this. Hey, here's what's going on, man. It's hot. Let's get going. Let's get the energy going. That's what agents do. They're looking to build business into this year. So they're very aggressively going out to stack up new listings. I'm starting to see old trends where not all of these are priced great, guys. They're just not. We're getting new listings, but they're just going to murk things up in the market. We'll talk about that more, but 62 on the new listings. Pending properties, 30. Okay, listen. That's a great number. What were we, 39 last week? That's great. We want to be in those 30s. That's what we did last year. We're looking for just steady. Let's just plow through it, right? If you saw, I haven't posted the year-end review yet. That should be up this week, I would imagine. I did that last week. We're doing a lot more transactions right now, okay? Transactions. You guys have been seeing that through the pendings. I want to keep that, but look at us. We're below 50% on the ratio of new listings to pendings. In my opinion, right now in February, with 30 pending properties, we should not be below 50%. That's a good number. 30 pending properties on a week in February is something to celebrate. And here we are below 50%. That's what I don't like. Closed properties, 24. That's right in line. Here's an interesting one. This is going to throw off the system this week. Where is that expired? Expired, 56 properties expired in the last 72 hours. Expired means they were listed for a certain amount of time and they went off the market. Now, if you've been watching this with me at all, you know that what happens here is a lot of this is user or agent error. This is not intentional that these things expire. Like they had a good conversation and said, let's just let it expire. A lot of this is, oops, didn't realize clerically it was going to expire. Let's get it back on the market. So even to add to the 62 new listings we had this week, I'm expecting the vast majority of these expired listings to come in this category down here back on the market. That's my feel, okay? I'm just being honest with you. Like that's what happens with that. That's not all strategic when those expireds hit, okay? Price changes, 38. Interestingly enough, we're not seeing as many price changes as we were in the mid-fall when everybody was searching. Because I think a lot of people made price changes and they're getting action, they're getting looks. But what's going to murk that? What's going to cause more price changes? More inventory. So if we keep climbing in these 60s, even though we're doing super good job of writing these contracts, super good job, we're busy. But if we keep doubling up on these listings, then you're going to see that price change model come back into effect, and we're going to sit 60 and 70 on the price changes and be right back to where we were. Okay? Just listen, just laying it out there for you. That's what's going to happen. That's why you tune in every Monday, is so we can talk about this stuff. All right, let me remove this. I'm going to go full screen. This DeSantis thing, and the reason I'm bringing this up, okay? The reason I'm bringing this up, I'm going to talk to you real quick before I give you these bullet points, and you can save this, come back and watch it, whatever you want to do. I received 2 calls last week, and one person was actually, we got an offer, and they were actually wondering how they should respond to it, because if DeSantis eliminates property tax, how much the values could go up. And listen, that's a good question. It's a real question, but there's some misconceptions about this Florida tax thing. Number one, there's still so much at play on getting it done. But number two, I think there's some key fundamentals on what you've got to understand about the plan itself, on how it might affect values or desire to our particular area and to the state of Florida as a whole, like who it matters to, okay? And that's what we're gonna touch on today, is the latest with it. This is the latest news with it. So let me go me small again and just pull this up and show it to you guys, okay? But here's what we're doing. The big idea from DeSantis is no more rent to the government. Like, that's what he's out there saying on the podium, right? Like, why, once you buy it, do you have to keep paying this fee, okay? But here's the thing, and this is bold at the top right here, and this is the main point I want to get involved with you guys on. I would say the majority of you guys that watch and the majority of you guys that call my phone are not primary and homestead Florida owners, meaning you live in the property for 6 months and a day, or you live down here full time. Guys, I want to stress this. This is only for those people. People that own second home and investment products, this is not going to affect your life in one way, shape, or another. It is just for primary homeowners and homestead, okay? That's who would be eliminated. I don't know exactly what the measure would be for second home and investment, if it would just stay the same, okay? Now listen, to change the tax system, it will require 60% voter approval in November of 2026. So this isn't gonna be voted on until November, late in this year, okay? But they have to first pass it through legislation with a 60% yes vote on March 13th. So the cue is this. We're gonna see on March 13th if the House and the Senate can get behind this, all the political backdoor stuff, if they can get that actually on the ballot for next November, and they got to do that by March 13th. I'm skeptical. There's some things in it I don't understand. They haven't laid out for me as a resident how they're going to pay for all the stuff they normally pay for with the property taxes, but that's where it's at. 10 for year. There's a couple of different options here. HJR 201, immediate. Like, we went over this earlier in the fall. There's like these different levels. There's one that just wipes it out immediately. You stop paying homestead taxes now. There's another one that like phases it out over 10 years, okay? That's why I think it's gonna be harder to pass, because there's so many different options out there and option sectors. Like, you've got seniors, you've got, there's all these little bubbles that would need to pass on this and vote on this to make it make sense for everybody, okay? Yeah, I mean, here's the point I want to get to though, right here, 6 to 12%, like, I know. So here's the main thing, okay? I think the main takeaway for you guys on this today, and why I want to stress this, I'm still skeptical it's going to get passed. I really am. Like, I just think that there's too many moving parts. We'll see what happens in March with this thing. If they can get it through the House and Senate, there's a lot of sides introducing these different varieties of the plan to either immediately eliminate, do it over 10 years, and then they're working out where that $25 billion, they said it was $25 billion in property tax, where those funds are going to come from. DeSantis and Cruz said there's a surplus, and it'll be taken care of in different ways, right? That's what they're saying. Wait and see. And an important factor too is non-school taxes, right? So this isn't going to affect if your high school needed to expand, right? Those taxes go into it. But what is included into it is like budgets for like police and fire department, like all that stuff, right? Like there's some big questions out there. And then the voting on it would be next November. So this isn't in the short term. But I think the key that I want to get across to you guys today is this is going to be an incentive for people that were thinking about moving to Florida, or if you're already a Florida resident. I think the biggest impact, honestly, if you're in Margaritaville or another senior living facility, no, not facility, community, said that wrong, senior living community, which is categorized as like 55 and up, or you're retired and you're on a fixed income forever, and annually your taxes go up 3% no matter what, but not necessarily your income. For those people, if you eliminate property tax, that is a massive hit. Look, it would be a massive thing for me. I'm paying $18,000 a year in property tax right now. That's $18,000 extra dollars for me and my family. That's a big deal. So I think the people who will impact are those that can sincerely move to Florida, which I think has slowed down the flexibility on that post-COVID. And then those that were thinking about retiring in Florida. Listen, if you were thinking about retiring in Florida and it was already a good setup anyway because of the weather and these amazing communities we have around here, on top of that, they throw out that you don't have to pay property tax. So that's one less bill that you've got to deal with. But I will say, will the attraction of no property taxes increase the amount of the home that you've got to buy, right? So let's say that your average home in Margaritaville is $600,000, okay? That means you're roughly paying around $6,000 a year in property tax. So you're saving $6,000 a year. But if due to the attraction, the house goes up $100,000, I mean, that wipes out almost 20 years of, 18 years of you see what I mean? It's math, right? So I think that attraction could drive more people down, which could drive the prices up. But we're talking about on a $600,000 home, about $6,000 a year in that cost, right? So those things have to balance. So anyway, I wanted to bring that up because I'm really getting that question. I'm an owner. I'm cautiously optimistic about what that could mean for me personally. I just need to see more about what they're actually going to do to make up for the back end and all those funds. So anyway, appreciate you guys. I've got another guest coming up next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be something you need to know. I got good feedback on the guests. We're going to keep bringing you guys that. But man, I am watching the inventory. I want the inventory to slow down so that we can enjoy this consistency on the pendings and continue to eat away at the inventory. That's the math we want, right? All right. You guys have an awesome week. Still cold here, and talk to you soon.